So I've made my first cut with this for a, weekly cut. And I was going to show you guys. Now, the discharge did not seem too well on this. And I'm going to go over some of my thoughts and what I may do to change that out and see if this would work. I've never done this on a mower before, but this is 72 inch. And so I'm wondering with guys with a 60, because I don't think I've seen this as much with a 60. But what I'm going to try to do is I'll show you in a minute. So I'm going to show you this cut. So like I said, I cleaned this up last week on Friday or so of last week. And when I cut this, it was just like a hayfield. Like I said, you can go back and watch the video. But I've cut it now going this way. The first cut I did like this, and it looks absolutely crazy right now. But I'll show you kind of downstream how it looks. But one of the things that I noticed on the 72 is I absolutely love the stripe. The huge wide stripe on there is going to be beautiful, and I really like that. I mean, to me, I think it's going to look better than even the 60 because you're getting a massive, massive stripe on this. I don't know if you can tell in video or not, but the sun's behind me and I'm walking this. Now, this was just cut, one time this way and one time this way. Now, I had to double cut this way to clean it up the first time, but this time I just cut it one time this way going down my stripe. So you can see the original ones were squirrely, this one's straight. Like I said, hopefully the video shows that. It looks wild to me, but I like it. But anyway, what I was going to say is I have some Bermuda that is up in this corner up here. This is mostly fescue and bluegrass, and I didn't see any trouble with it whatsoever. It seemed to cut that really good. But when it got in some really thick stuff, which up here, it just gets crazy, crazy thick on me. And if if it had rained a lot and I cut it with the 60, even when I had the Cheetah, the Hyperdrive, any of those, it would leave just a little bit if I let it get real thick. So this time I noticed that it left some on top that it would pull, and a lot of it's from last week. You can tell by how brown it is. So maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it won't do that later on, but you can see some of that there. And there's a lot of Bermuda in this, so it's super, super thick because the Bermuda and all that is in there. But you can see these here, like this stuff, which a lot of this is from last week, and this is super thick in here. But it just didn't chop that up extremely well like I was wanting it to. And I mean, this grass is crazy. I mean, let me just show you this. Look at this. I mean, it's thick. So I'm not for sure if the 72 is going to cut as good as the 60-inch ones did. But I think I may have a fix for that. I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me with that and let me know if you've ever done this. So I'm going to show you this on the mower, and then we're going to see what your thoughts were. Hopefully you can help me in the comments. So on the 72-inch model, I haven't measured on the 60, but on the 72-inch model, this has a 9-inch wide pulley. Let me make sure. This old trusty junk tape measure this. But I think these are 9-inch pulleys on this. So they may be a hair. So they're like 8 7/8 to 9 inches, somewhere there. We'll say 8 3/4 to 9 inches, the width of the pulley. So I took that And then I took and put a tachometer like this here. I put a tachometer on my blade tip speed. And so to do that, you got to put a piece of tape on it, you know, reflective tape. And I measured the tip of that, and I got 2867 RPM at the tip of the blade. You know, so when that comes out to blade speed, normally on professional mowers, it's about 18,500 to 19,000. 19,000 is the regulated blade tip speed. Now, you can go over that if you want, but that's something you have to understand, that you're putting more load, speed, all that. The bearings might not be rated for over that. I have no clue, but I'm gonna run this a little bit more, but I want to get your guys' thoughts first and see what you think. So because I absolutely love this mower, like the 72-inch, the ride, the heel stability. I mean, this thing is just so phenomenal. But I'm not going to double cut all the time. Like, no way, no how. I bought this to speed it up, not double cut. Double cut will always look better, but I just don't do that. I mow one way 1 week, one way the other way. And it looks phenomenal right now, but there were several spots that I noticed when it got extremely, extremely thick that it didn't seem like it was kicking out as far as I want it to. Now, I did the math on that, and it come out to 18,300 of where the speed of the deck is for the blades. So if I drop the pulley to 8.5 inches, that's going to put me a hairline over 19,000 blade speed is what they, you know, not the RPM, but the regulated how they use that. So what I'm wanting to do is, anybody ever swapped the pulleys on their mower? And I've seen people on the forums do it, but I've never seen one on a 72-inch deck. And if you did, what problems did you have? And if you're someone who is an engineer on here, have you ever, you know, changed them out? Because I know some of the other decks that are like this have littler pulleys on there. And I know they've done the math on it and how they've got all the, but if I swap these three across through there to 8.5, just the upper pulley right here, it is going to raise my blade tip speed, which should give me a lot better discharge on there, because I think on the 60-inch models, it's about 18.5 to 18.6, and also it's a littler deck. So if I had a higher blade tip speed on here, it's obviously going to give me better discharge. And I've not swapped the blades on here. I've not tested anything, but I'm super curious to, you know, hear you guys' thoughts. If you have a 72-inch mower, if you come from a 60 and you went to a 72, what did you notice difference-wise? And has any of you ever swapped the pulleys, raising it above 19,000? Because if I do 8.5-inch pulleys on here, it's going to put me at like 19.2 to 19.5 for the speed on that. So like I said, I don't know if I'll end up doing that. Maybe you know, like I said, this is the first time I've cut with this. There are still some longer seed heads left from last time in it. But like I said, that real thick stuff that's down there, in that soft, lush area right there, it just didn't seem like it was discharging as well as I want. Anyway, help me in the comments. Thanks.